Hello, welcome to Tony's Bonsai. Today I'm working on one of my favourite trees, and it's this Windswept style hawthorn. It's absolutely freezing here in England at the moment. This week, and certainly today, it's colder here than it is in Toronto in Canada. So I don't know what they're all complaining about. Jay, Dave, Nigel, you know, it's a bit of cold, so what? They're not as tough as us, you see, but they do the best they can. So let's get on with this tree. What can I do with this today? The pots are frozen solid, and we've had like slushy sleet come down, which is then frozen. So all our pots are covered in this, but that's fine. They'll deal with it. Hawthorns especially are tough. There's a bit of banging in the background if you can hear it. Sorry about that, there's nothing I can do. I think it's somebody cutting firewood probably to keep warm, so we'll let them off. Now, as for this tree, I've been styling this for a year or two, and it's in this windswept style, but I need to rewire some of these branches today. I'm showing you this view from end on because although I've got everything more or less going in this direction, I do think I need to sort of tweak some of these branches around so that they all sort of have more of a flow to them, as if the wind's really getting them. And also there's a few branches down here that I think need removing. I'll deal with those first. With a windswept tree, you don't necessarily want everything all going in one direction. However, this one, it's just in the wrong place. It's spoiling the line. So I'd rather get rid of that. Likewise, this one here, I've got a nice, I like the way it comes up and down like that, and this branch kind of spoils that line, so that one can go as well. They'll heal over these in the next sort of 2 or 3 years. They'll be gone. They'll just add character. I do see where we're looking as the front. There are, you know, I want it good from all sides, but I definitely see this as the front, and in which case I'm not sure about this small branch there. I did initially have it kind of coming around like that, but again that then spoils this sweeping line, which I really like, so that's another one that can go. Let's get rid of that. From the back side of the tree here, you can see we've got this major cut that I made last year. It's beginning to roll and heal, and I do want this to heal up eventually, well hopefully. I've left all these branches on at the top to pull the sap up to heal this wound, so I'm not sure what to do with these. I don't think they're all going to stay in the final composition, and there could be a case made for completely removing that to add this taper across here. That's quite a bold move, but you know what I'm like. In for a penny, in for a pound. I'm going for it. I think that's got to go. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. I kept them on last year because, as I say, I wanted that healing to start, but there's no point healing a wound over that is not going to be in the long-term, you know, design. You know, I could let it heal for a couple of years, then I'd have to recut it. So I'm doing a nice clean cut on this top section here. I want this lovely and clean. That's a beautiful cut there, gorgeous. So that's going to give me a really nice line for new callus tissue to form over. And I'm just looking at it now from the position of the camera, and I like that. I'm just wondering if I could take this edge off here just to give me a slightly smoother line up. I think I can, just by removing that there. See, in these early stages of development, this is the time to take these harsh decisions, the difficult decisions. I don't want to be having to make a decision like this in 5 years' time. So that's worked nicely, that. I think that really improves the flow of this tree. Let's look at it from the front. Yes, I'm very happy with that. That now really looks much better. This thicker branch here really flows from the trunk, so that works great. I won't be doing anything with this branch here. This is the new leader, so this will be allowed to grow, probably extend at least another foot in length. I want this to thicken up more. I want this to pull sap up the top and just help that to heal, and this to become the new leader of the tree. Eventually it'll probably be cut here, I expect, or possibly up at this section here to allow for taper, but at the moment I'm pleased with the development of this one. A little known trick to help a tree be healthy in winter, you'll not see this on any other bonsai channel, is to actually do a mid-winter feed. And the best thing to do is to just dab a bit of blood on the trunk like that. Look at that. So looking from the back of the tree now, you can see I've applied some fairly heavy wire to these two branches, and I don't need to move them massively, but I do want to move them down and across. So this one's going to come down a bit and round like that. So it's just bringing it more in line with the flow of the tree. This one, I'm happy for it to come across just a bit like that, but then again I want to take it further round, so it kind of comes up across and then round like that. So that works well. It's now clashing with this smaller branch here, but that's easy to move. I can move that anytime. And while I'm bending this one, I can hopefully just add a bit of up and down movement too. You can see here we do have some up and down movement in this branch, which I like, and I don't think it really needs too much work on it. Maybe if I can just bend it down a touch there, that's better. But this one, I definitely want to add some down and then up, and I want to do it at this stage, so I get the down there, then if I can hold that, go on, and up, it's now, as well as the lateral movement, it's got the flow in that direction as well, which works well. And maybe if I can just, no, I can't get any extra in that top one, but that's fine. It was this one I wanted to really, that's nice. I'm happy with that. That works well. Now to get some finer wire onto some of these other branches and kind of move them out of the way. And these ones are dead easy to move. I've applied a piece of wire to two branches, and the reason I'm showing you from this view is because this branch here kind of follows the flow of this, and there's not much happening out this on this side of the tree. So what I was thinking is, if I can take this branch out in that direction before then moving it round, and there's a lovely bud here on the outside and there's another one there, that's just adding some more three-dimensional sort of structure to the tree. And it's hard to see, well, I'll show you from a different angle. This is the branch that I just moved here, and I'm very happy with the movement of that. These are the other branches that come out to this side, and this is the other one I've wired, and it kind of just comes in a straight line, which is not the most interesting. And I'm thinking that if I can bring this one down in that direction, and then from there, I'll need my pliers for this. From there, if I can bring it like that, it's now kind of filling this area here below, and I like that there, that works. The bend's a little more extreme than I'd like, but when I take the wire off, they always go back hawthorn, so I'm happy to bend them a bit more on the extreme side to allow for them to bounce back. Yeah, that works nicely. I've just wired up the remaining 4 branches. This one I quite like already. It's had some wire applied in the past, and all I'm doing is exaggerating the movement that's already there. I'm not concerned about this end bit, that'll be being removed. It's really just to get some nice movement in that direction, and it comes nicely in that way too, so yeah, that works well, that one. And finally we have these 3 here that are wired. These 2 are fairly straightforward, and this one here comes from kind of underneath, and I'm thinking that it's going to be better coming down like that and filling that space there. That works well. As for these 2, again, the kind of theme is that the branches go down, but I don't want them all doing that. Mind you, some of these have come up, so this, well, there's a little stub in here actually that I hadn't seen. I might remove that because I think that's not going to be necessary. Yeah, that's not going to be needed in the final composition, so I may as well remove that one. It's hard to get into that there. There we go. Oh, that's cleared it up a bit. That's made it a bit easier to see and sort of work out what to do here. So this one's coming up and down. This one's coming up and down. This one's just coming down and then up. So I like that. I like the fact that they're not all doing the same thing. And this one, can kind of, I think that can go up a bit and then come down like that and maybe fill that space. They're all kind of in harmony, these 3. So it's almost like this is up, this is across, that's down, and they kind of flow. And from the end on, they're on kind of different planes as well. Perhaps if I could just, oh, he's slippy on the ground, bring that across a bit there, like that. There. Yeah, I like that. So they're each coming out here, going in, and then from here they're sort of up there and there. So it's just developing something. There's nothing to say this will be the permanent design of those branches. Just for the time being though, I think that's working quite well. I've got a little branch up at the top here, and I'm just going to leave that for the time being. It might help pull a bit of sap around this wound. I've just looked through the back of the camera and it kind of looks like one of those prawns to me, you know, like a langoustine, sort of up on feeding on the bottom of the sea. But if I turn it round, looks good from all directions, I think. It's got, you know, it's got nice bulk to it, but this is the side that I see it looking best. I've just applied cut paste to the small cuts and the big wound on the top to allow them to heal. And what I do is now, I'll leave this sat at a different angle. What I mean by that is, in the garden, I wedge this up with bricks and I plant it and I leave it sitting like that all summer so that the branches grow in this direction, upwards. And that means that as they set in that position, when I then put it there, they're already naturally coming this way. So that seems to be working quite well. I hope you enjoyed joining me today while I work on this tree. This is one of my favourite trees to work on, and I think that's the 3rd wiring that I've done already on this, and I suspect it'll need several more wirings in the future, both on structural, and then as these are all set in place, then I'll have to start working on the more refined branches as they develop over the years. But it's turning into something I'm quite happy with. As always, thanks for joining me. Have a great day and I'll see you soon.